Hi, Joel here. I want to welcome you to this week's edition of eimagine Better. As Lee likes to say, I am grateful to be here and I'm glad to be here. I'm back on the road again. eimagine Better is back on the road. This time we're shooting in Columbus, Ohio at The Ohio State University. Being a kid who grew up in Michigan, I'm really struggling being at Ohio State, but I got to tell you, it's a fantastic place to be with fantastic facilities. So let me back up a step. I grew up in Michigan playing soccer, and one of the guys that I played with was a guy named Brian Maisonneuve. Brian ended up being the Michigan High School Player of the Year, the College Player of the Year. He played in the Olympics. He played in the World Cup. And when you meet this guy, he's the most non-assuming, gentle person you've ever met. Just an amazing human being. But Brian has happened to be the Ohio State men's soccer coach. And so as I coach Cathedral High School, one of the things that I get to do is I get to bring my team over and work with Brian for the weekend here at Ohio State, running through the Ohio State team camp. And why am I bringing this up is because when I really thought about Brian and Ohio State and some of the amazing things that they've done, they've set a standard in which they operate. When the players come in, how do they have their equipment? How do they have their uniforms? How do they have the locker room, the nutritionist, the medical staff, the education staff, everything that they've set here at Ohio State, they set a standard in which they want to operate, and they don't dip below that standard. In fact, they're challenging you to raise the standard, beat Michigan, but raise the standard. And I think when I translate that to us and our business, I'm always thinking about standards of how do we operate. When we think about our eimagine Trust Advantage, what are we doing with that? Well, we're putting a process in with metrics, this client-driven process that we can measure our success. We're putting standards that we want to say, this is how we deliver, this is our process, this is how we're going to measure ourselves against, which is a standard. And so when I really thought about Ohio State and some of the lessons learned, I thought about being here and being with an old buddy of mine and the soccer and the nostalgia. That really translates into our world at eimagine and how we want to operate with a certain level of client value, certain level of client delivery, and the standards that we want to bring our customers. And so really excited about that. Thought I'd share a little bit about how I think there's a transition from athletics to school, or athletics, to the business world. I hope there's something in here that brings you value. I hope you imagine yourself better, eimagine better, and I look forward to talking to you next week.